welcome everyone to CBC TV. It's 2 weeks in a row.
Woohoo!
There was part of me today. I was like, "There's no way there's news. There's nothing." And it's like, I'll just have a look, and it's like, "Oh, there actually is a couple of pieces." So we'll talk about that to make it two. Also, got money to make up for February because.
Oh. Yeah, we have a lot to do.
Stupid plumbers, like goddamn.
I'll send out the sorry cards, and we can.
I mean, if you can whip it, I'll give you my PayPal link and whip it around. That'd be great.
Just
that'd
go
be
fantastic.
fantastic. So yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, Mitch692. You can follow the channel by googling Comic Book Cast and find us absolutely everywhere. And once again, I'm joined by Sean.
What's up? I'm still under media lockdown, so you can follow me here on the show.
So yeah, to get right into it, we know with Feige taking over Marvel Studios or Marvel Entertainment in general as a whole. So yeah, Feige took over. He brought everything out, restructured Marvel TV. You all know that story. What's come out in the last couple of days is Marvel Animation, which is still under Entertainment and all that. Has, I think it's the head of it, Court Lane, has exited Marvel Entertainment and Animation and all that. Dude's been there since I think 2010. Essentially everything in the last decade that people haven't liked, the guy's gone.
Yeah.
So he be go. He ain't come back. So hopefully you'll get someone else that can actually, give us decent Marvel animated stuff because they have been lacking.
Oh yeah, that's the one thing they haven't conquered yet. I would say,
well, they did that. I say conquered. You had us Mighty's Heroes. Everyone loved it. People have been begging for that to come back. Disney Plus. If you don't do it, what you do?
Yeah, I have a feeling that a lot of stuff, companies like this, there's always once there's a turnaround. Usually it's a long time, but I think this is the time for fresh new faces. I mean, with Iger exiting or stepping down his term, which is, for better or for worse, it's a thing now. But it's just. I think it's.
You really don't like the old cartoon.
Yeah, he hates it. It's just that's the sound he makes when he says.
Don't like Ultimate Spider-Man.
But yeah, I think this is just another it happens in every company where a certain amount of time people just have to they have to do a rotation of people, and this is I think this guy's had a long enough time trying to build that part up, and I think for better or for worse, I think there needs to be a change of guard. I mean,
I'm not entirely sure if he's the one. I assume he's the one responsible for all the anime or the faux anime. It's not really anime. It's it
is faux anime because I think the companies actually no, I take it back. I think there was a joint effort with a Japan animation studio. But it didn't have that feel.
No, it felt very American trying to do
Western,
yeah.
But there's gonna be a lot of changes going on in the next couple months to a year. For the studio, So, I mean, you're gonna see a lot of changes. I mean, people coming and going all the time. So, I think a lot of these people that are leaving have been here for decades.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's kind of time to rotate.
And so you gotta.
And I think animation.
Stop yourself from being stale.
Yeah, and I think the animation side is probably it's gonna have. And my feeling is it's gonna. I think there's a lot of good things down the pipeline for what they have for the animation side.
Yeah.
That's gonna be specifically to Disney Plus. So there's gonna be a lot of animation, Star Wars. And Marvel and original content, So,
we'll get to Star Wars animation later on, actually, because I am not impressed, to be honest. Get to that later on. I'm slightly mad about it. But yeah, this guy, he became director of creative development in 2008. which is kind of coincidentally right where they stopped, like the animated movie stopped being good, and it's just like, oh, that's clearly kind of a cutoff, and then became the vice president of animation and family entertainment in 2016.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. Like I think the people that are coming in, I think that I think the studio's in good hands. So I think
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I trust whoever comes in that like I mean, like they're trying to build the brands. They're not just going to bring in any Joe Schmo to run this section of the studio. So,
I just
anything new is kind of good, right? Sorry.
Yeah. I was just gonna say like don't follow what DC's doing. Like, don't try and take old stories and put them in one big thing. Like, just the way, like, not been a fan of what DC been doing with their animated movies. People like them, cool. Last good one for me was Red Hood, but like, just take the general idea. Take a storyline. Don't like try and fit it in with the current way of the comics are going, because I think you lose a lot of the charm from the old stories. Like, adapt. I don't know.
I think the upcoming What If stuff is like a good starting off point for where the animation studios are going to be. So I think a lot of people are going to love. I mean, like I say that with every bias bone in my body, but like,
you're gonna love this, and everyone's gonna say no.
Yeah, it sucks, man. You owe me. I think people are gonna love what those what ifs are.
Yeah.
I think there's like a treasure trove of like stories that you can tell in that style. That you can't necessarily always tell in real life. Live action. So I think from here on, I think the what ifs are going to be a really good template for what the futures hold for that.
As long as they don't all have that same animation style, because I like the what if style, but make that solely.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the aesthetic of that show.
So if you bring Earth's Mightiest Heroes back, you can maybe change the art style of Earth's Mightiest Heroes. It's not the best. It's got a quirk and a charm to it that fits that show. Keep it. Don't do what Young Justice did and slash the budget, so you have to really like show your hand in that series. But like,
no, I think that if that Earth's Mightiest Heroes does come back, it's going to stay the same for the most part. I mean, there's not going to be a lot changed. I think that's what people. I think when they remember when they changed the animation style with that new series. I think
what did they call it?
It was like a semi sequel to the cartoon.
I say they tried saying it was a sequel. It's like, this doesn't make sense.
Yeah. So,
like, what are you doing?
I think they learned their lesson. I think there's a fan base for that art, for that animation style, and I think that's kind of like like you said, the charm of it. Like if you slap the name on a show and you put a different animation, it's not the same art. It's not the same cartoon.
No.
You can improve on it, yes, but I think they're going to keep it. If it does come back, it's going to stay the same.
Oh yeah,
it's just going to improve a little bit.
Especially if because if they bring it back and they don't do what they've been teasing all this time that they were going to do, like the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, like if you change how it looks, then you're going to get.
Well, there's going to be a lot of people that are like. People are familiar with that brand. It's almost a brand at this point.
Oh yeah.
That style, and they've already tried it once before, just trying to pass another style as a continuation of that show, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
So I think it's. I mean, I think they recognize that there's the fan base is like clamoring for this back.
Oh yeah.
So
I think with the success, can I say Young Justice's success on DC Universe, because
it's the only thing.
That thing is kind of not the show itself. I know people like. Oh, I've heard mixed things in the new season actually, but like the service as a whole is like, is anyone actually watching that thing?
I mean, can you call it a service at this point? Because it's probably got like one show.
I don't think even AT&T call it a service. They're like, what is this? No.
It's like a couple stuff strung together, and then like Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I kind of like the style of the Young Justice. I kind of do. It's like you said. I think
it's okay.
I think it resembles a westernized anime feel.
I would say it kind of feels like Avatar.
Yeah.
Like Avatar kind of was a bit of an anime, but it wasn't, and it's like you can kind of like I think as long as you can get 2D stuff out, because yes, 3D's cheaper, it's quicker, but you got a long way to go before it looks better or even looks good.
Well, I mean, yeah, but I think people are familiar with the 2D, and I think it has, like I said, it has a fan base. I mean, people are not asking for a 3D, because I like 3D animation has come a long way, but I think it's still a ways off because
it's still very much in its infancy.
Yeah, and I think. I mean, because like if you look at stuff like Ultraman and like
Ultraman, Dragon Prince, Ruby over and like Rooster Teeth and WB and all that. Like,
I mean, that stuff is fine, but I think it still has its like kind of like an odd feeling to it for me.
The problem is it's guaranteed. You can literally see it watch any season 1 of a 3D show. It's always janky at the start.
Yeah.
Always just season 2 slightly less janky. Season 3 they get in there. Season 4 it's like it actually looks smooth.
And then by the time they get it to the right point, the show's ending. So
exactly, yeah. It's just like
I don't know. Like I kind of enjoy it. There's an anime. I think it was Castlevania on Netflix. That's fun to watch.
Which fun fact? When I were talking about the Master of the Universe series, apparently the Castlevania guys are doing that. So
I don't
that's
know how to feel
that's going to look. So.
Yeah. I mean, look, I enjoy that aesthetic on that show. It might work in Masters of the Universe, but like the biggest thing about Master of the Universe is like a lot of people that are looking forward to this are the people that have been fans for decades. I mean, like fanboys that have been in, collecting the they grew up watching it on Saturday Night Morning cartoon. I think that's what they're gauging it towards. In
the people in their 30s and 40s.
Yeah, me basically. And like it's gonna be kind of a jarring probably to see it in that style, but like I said, I kind of enjoy the Castlevania look, but like I kind like the Masters of the Universe thing is kind of like I kind of wish they went back to that hand drawn looking animation, but I can understand why they don't do it because it takes too much time.
Oh yeah.
But like
I was gonna say, just to end this topic off, everyone wanting what's it called? Oh, Spectacular Spider-Man. You ain't getting that bad.
Yeah, you're not getting that at all.
If I don't, it always blows my mind. Every time someone brings it up, someone mentions the fact that it's a Sony cartoon. Disney can't do it. They might do it now with the financial stake in the deal. I don't know. I can tell you this, man. I think I had this conversation with somebody else, along with the fact that they can. Like someone tried to convince me that they couldn't make the toys without Sam Raimi approving it. I was like, absolutely not. They own the rights to the toys, so they can make. But they don't want it. With the animation stuff, I think I'm not entirely sure how that was. Last time I thought they had the rights to the animation, but like I think maybe I'm wrong on that. But like, all I know is it was a Sony cartoon. It was made under Sony when they had the rights.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be next to Slim.
I'll put a fact that I have not heard anything about a Spectacular Spider-Man revival. Yeah. So I mean, look, I like the Spectacular Spider-Man, but I would like to see a little bit like I don't know, man. Like
I'd like to see no Spider-Man cartoons because Jesus Christ, there's one every year, and
it's almost like the Marvel's answer to Batman.
Yeah.
As much as I love the character, I don't want to see like 5 cartoons, running at the same time in 3 different aesthetics. I mean, look. In a perfect world, they take a break from that, but that's never going to happen.
Oh no! Why would you? It's a money bank.
But like, what I would love to see is like maybe a different take on the character. Like, I don't know, like just something that's just like less goofy and a little bit more serious. And I would love to see like kind of like, I don't know, man. Like I would love to see them actually like kind of mirror like maybe a Eric Larson or Tom McFarlane type like feel to it. I don't know. Like nothing, I don't know, man. Like those last couple of cartoons are just too goofy for me. Like like I Spectacular Spider-Man might have been the only one that I can actually watch, but like it had its time and it ran its course, and it's a relic of the past, man. Like it's never gonna happen.
I'll say, unfortunately, now it is. Yeah, that's kind of like, oh. But hey, at least it was better than the '90s cartoons because they were bad. They were bad. People praise that '90s Spider-Man one. It's like, no, that was bad.
Those are the same people that went back and said the '90s X-Men cartoon was the greatest, and then like rewatching on Disney Plus.
Be careful with that one. That gets people heated to no end.
I will push that button because I was one of you guys, and then I actually went back.
And watched. Growing up with that show, it was fantastic. Going back to it, it's rough.
Yeah, it's rough. Well, it's hard to watch now because of like the standards of like animation that you kind of want to see versus like missing scene, characters in 6 different colors or one color. There's a lot of jankiness to that cartoon. It's kind of hard to watch after a while. Like you kind of like if like.
Well, here's the thing: it relied on it in the '90s. It relies on it now. It's the intro.
Yeah, that's the
people love it because the intro, and even then, the intro's stolen from someone else.
And it was just so basic, man. I'm sorry. Like I'll hit that button. It was fun back in the days when I was like, I don't know, like 15, 16. But I cannot, as an adult, and like being in like consuming better products and better content. I kind of like I want better.
Yeah.
I kind
so
of
all well and good. I know I was going to end this topic. Bring it back. Just make it good.
Before I get like 18 different YouTube. Look you, man. It's my childhood. You're ruining my childhood.
It will happen. It will happen. It's always.
I'm sure. I enjoy those comments.
But I'll let them type the comments out while we move on to our next topic. So yeah, new Star Wars project. It might be a movie, it might be a series. We don't know. It hasn't been revealed yet. All we know is that they have the writer from Marvel's Luke Cage and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., who's currently co-writing One Piece. I did not know that one, so that's an interesting one. And also I believe the director from Slay. Both of their names.
I can tell you this right now. It's going to be very few Star Wars movies coming out, so I'll
say that was part of the reason why I put this on here, because it's like they've said the Star Wars are getting a hiatus, so those dates that they have, I don't know what they're going to do with those dates.
Well, I mean, some of those movies are still going to show up, but I think they're going to cut a lot. Like they're going to focus more on TV shows, and I think rightfully so, because like. I think they need to take a break from like doing movies not taking a break, but kind of slow it down. And like, cause with TV shows, you have more time to develop characters and like worlds. And I think that's what Disney needs to focus on is.
I also don't think it helped where like, yes, Rogue One made $1 billion, but you also like, I don't know what went wrong with Solo. There's 3 different theories on what happened with Solo. The placement probably was the big one because Infinity War and Deadpool, bad time to come.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of things going on with the Solo film.
Obviously all the behind the scenes stuff and like director change. Like the fact that it just made like what less than 500 mil.
Yeah, I always thought that should have been a TV show versus a movie.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do something like that, if you're gonna do that and use like legacy characters like that, I think movies probably the wrong way to go.
I think that was always my argument. It's like just the anthology movies don't need to be anthology movies. Make them anthology shows. Which they're doing, and that's how we got the Mandalorian. And look, I was right.
Well, I mean, to their credit, I mean, like at the point of Solo, I think this was just like Disney Plus was like a germ of an idea. So like you can't like, I mean, not so much a germ, but it was like so far behind.
It wasn't fully fleshed out. It was
it wasn't.
Yeah.
And like you set these dates, you kind of have to like, because like if you pull back a date, people start automatically thinking, oh, something's wrong. I mean, that is like the first thing in people's minds is like, if you pull a movie or you delay a film or a TV show, that the first thing that people think of is there's a problem. Yeah. And I mean, like I would say about 50-60% of the time, probably right. But like there's other things that are involved behind the scenes, like, look, I mean, the Obi-Wan thing is a perfect example, man. It started out as a movie and it went to a TV show. So, like, when they said it wasn't going to be a movie anymore, people thought, oh, something's wrong, But, like, behind the scenes, they're like, well, this would be better as a TV show. This would, I think that's right, though. Like the Obi-Wan doesn't need to be a movie.
No.
In this point in time, we're in the golden age of TV, like TV, and like you have Disney Plus, and you could create, like, you can kind of expand the world in a TV show versus like a 3-hour movie or 2-hour movie,
I should say the director is J.D. Dillard and Matt Owens.
Oh, Matt Owens, okay.
Is the writer. So.
Yeah, I mean, I my money is on TV show.
My money was firmly on that as well.
Yeah, and like, cause it's like it's not a mystery. I mean, like they've even said they're gonna kind of pull back some of these movies.
Yeah,
and kind of
it's just the whole like THR put is unclear whether it's a movie or TV show. So it's more likely a TV show.
Yeah, it's like I would say about, if I had to put a percentage, it's probably 80% a TV show. Because I think they're gonna eventually. I think the Ryan Wilson.
Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Johnson. I think he's going to definitely be like films, but like, whatever he does is going to be films. But you're going to see very less theatrical Star Wars properties. So, and rightfully so. I mean,
So you got to let it cool off a little bit. You just finished. You can't jump straight into anything else.
Yeah, and like plus, it's not a bad idea to kind of get people used to the characters that you're creating in a TV show, and then kind of ease it into a movie versus like, oh, here's a new band of characters you've never heard of, and here's the movie that it's going to be for like 3. Like
exactly.
I don't know. I think it's probably like the best plan that
I'm just like, it's just an interesting choice. The guy who wrote Luke Cage and he's doing One Piece, like, wow, that's.
But I think it's a good thing, though. I mean, like, I think, it kind of like, you want, and hot take, why I liked The Last Jedi was Ryan Johnson was a different type of director, that appealed to me. Like, I wasn't so much hung on about like how the legacy characters were, or written or treated or whatever you wanted to say. But I think with the TV shows, you kind of have to like allow different types of people to, because like if and not knocking him, but like if Lucas had the properties, you would have very familiar faces,
very samey,
creating these characters, and it all would feel the same. But with you have different people creating different characters, it's gonna. I think it will expand the world a little bit more, and kind of go outside of like the Skywalker trilogy. Like with what they're doing with the Mandalorian. Like there's like zero mention of anybody in the like the Skywalker trilogy, and that's great. I think to its benefit, that's why it works, because you're not having to. There's no baggage that goes along with that, And that, and I'm not saying baggage in a negative sense. Is like there is a lot of like baggage with using.
There's a lot to carry and hold up when you.
But then people start getting expectations of like what's going to happen if this character is involved in this, and that, you know. So once you interject,
don't worry about it.
Yeah, I think once you interject like legacy characters or characters you're familiar with, then people's expectations kind of take over, and then then I think in that case, like none of these shows would have a chance.
Nah,
because people would whatever they do with these shows, you know, people's expectations of how the characters would be treated would be different, and then you'd be hearing the same things you hear about the sequel trilogy. So
it's a double-edged sword, because if you don't, if you do an established character, it's you did this is wrong. This wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
If it's new, it's like, well, who cares?
Well,
it's like, everyone was new at one point. Give
I
characters
think
a chance.
If fans say that, I think it's kind of there, and I'm not saying. I think if fans would say something like that, I don't care, then you're just automatically writing the show off, and you're not. That's kind of like narrow-minded in my opinion, because
it absolutely is, yeah.
Because look, I've heard a lot of arguments like if the legacy characters weren't involved with the sequel trilogy, it wouldn't have been as bad. It's like, okay, so we're gonna give you new characters in a familiar setting, and then you're telling me that's not what you want either. At that point, you're just kind of throwing your hands in the air. It's like, look, I'm a company. I have to do this. I have to put something out. Like it or not. If you don't like it this time, we'll get you around the next time. Who knows? I don't know. But like you can't please everybody at this point. So
especially Star Wars.
I'm not gonna say that because I got a lot of hate mail last time.
That's fine. I'll say it. I'll say it loud.
But I think this is the right decision to just look, man. Give anybody that loves this property, they should have a chance to work in it. So I mean, look, if these people that are writing this new show or just the project, let them, man. I'm open to anything at this point.
Same. And it's not, it's nice to get different perspectives on this franchise. It's like, let anyone do what they want to do and see what they come up with. The biggest problem with Star Wars is always felt small and creatively bankrupt. You can never do anything different with Star Wars, and that was very prominent with the sequel trilogy and the anthology, especially Rogue One. That movie is like, hey, here's a thing you like, here's a thing you remember, and it's like, oh, here's the Darth Vader at the end. It's just like, oh, this is all these movies are going to be, and it's just like, you know what, let's do something different. Give me something different.
Just, it's like, if someone has iced pizza for 2 decades, after a while, even if you're Italian, you're gonna hate pizza.
Did you say iced pizza? What's iced pizza? That's.
You're gonna have to ask an Italian about that.
I mean, I would, but I can't get into Italy right now because they're on lockdown.
But I mean, just in closing, I think it's probably the best thing that they possibly could do with this project, because if they write something with legacy characters, people that are hardcore fans are gonna have a problem with it, regardless of they had problems with Rogue One when it came out, and I thought that was one of the best Star Wars films that in that year, in my opinion.
I will disagree.
Respectfully, of course.
It was the only Star Wars movie in that year. It was also kind of bad.
Yeah, I mean, I think, in my opinion, I think what they did with it was fine. It was I clamoring to see what happened? Yeah, but it gave us great characters.
Did it though?
Well, I thought. Well, no, I thought, especially with Cassian Andor. I think if Rogue One didn't exist, the show wouldn't exist, and the show is gonna go. And I mean, look.
Can I be brutally honest? I'd be fine with that. Everything that they could have done, a Rogue One spin-off, personally, Cassian was one of the most boring people in Rogue One. So a prequel for him is just like, I guess. I'll check it out, but I guess.
Out of all the characters, which one would you want to?
I'd rather have the. I can't.
Baze?
I can't remember the names. The blind guy and the guy with
Baze and Chorizo, or I can't remember what that was.
Chorizo. Yeah. I'd love Chorizo right now. But yeah, those two, like, they're the most interesting ones.
Well,
if you want, like, if she was not going to do them, I suppose Jin was such a blank slate of a character.
I think out of all the characters, I thought she was kind of bland. I think she
she was. They were all bland. Don't get me wrong, but like for a protagonist, like you kind of there's be more to work with there.
I don't know. I think you're gonna be surprised with the show.
I mean, hopefully I will be. Like, if it's great, it's great. I'll be the first to say otherwise. But
I mean, like, this is my opinion. I thought like just his backstory seemed interesting because like I was interested in like what brought this guy to this point. Like he talks about like having to do all this crazy stuff for the rebellion. You know, like we're talking about he's killing people. He's essentially a bad guy, but he's a good guy. And like, you know, I mean, first scene of the movie, he shoots the guy in the back. You know, after because he didn't want to get. But I think that's gonna like the show's gonna definitely flesh that character out a little bit more. And
like, I'll give it its chance, and if it's good, I'll give it its dues. It's just like,
yeah. But
out of everything, you chose Cassian. Like, I can see why he's having problems behind the scenes. Because, yikes, that's a hard character. You haven't got a character to write for. Like,
Well, I mean, like, essentially all the characters are pretty much blank. I mean, like, you could.
Oh yeah. Like they were gonna die. There was no point in doing anything with them. Just kill
I mean, if you're gonna do something with the characters, I guess a prequel makes more sense than like what happens in the afterlife. What was he thinking right before he got asked?
I mean, you say that if it was a Jedi in Rogue One and they died, I'd watch a Force Ghost series. Tell me what goes on in Force Ghost world.
I want to know what.
Like, where do they go? Like, what is going on there? How do they do this stuff?
I mean, look, like Disney Plus definitely will give us the opportunity to kind of like get a lot of that. Like, there's going to be a lot of. It's going to be like a buffet of like shows for that.
If the Star Wars ones come out.
Yeah, I mean, look, the Obi-Wan is pretty far. You know, it's about to start pretty soon. So. Yeah,
I'm gonna say because like, and I heard Cassian's back on track.
Oh yeah, it's 100% back on track.
It's just because didn't Ewan McGregor say Obi-Wan's going to start filming later in the year?
Towards the end of the year, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, it's like you can't say it's delayed because there was no release date. Fair enough, I'll give you that one.
I don't know. I think I don't know. Just in my opinion, I think you're good. I think you're gonna like. I mean, I would hope you're gonna like it, but
I hope I'm gonna like it. But I tell you right now,
so.
Cassian has a hill to climb. Obi-Wan, like Obi-Wan's the one everyone wanted. They always wanted the Obi-Wan movie. They want the show. The two hardest characters that have to climb a hill for me are those two. Like Obi-Wan, his story's been told. We've had like 20 years of Obi-Wan stories. There ain't much more to tell. I'll watch the show. It's.
Well, I mean, look, there has been some time periods that we really think that haven't been kind of like explored. I mean, yes, that's kind of a stretch. I mean, I don't want to end the series with like a CGI Alan McGuinness, on Ewan McGregor's body, But like, I think there's potential to kind of expand his character a little bit more.
But didn't the cartoons do that though?
Yeah,
he's been in everything.
Well, I think I think of all the series, I think, like you said, everybody wants that. And if you could give me,
it's just the one I don't understand because it's like, well, you've got everything. We know more about Obi-Wan than everyone else. Like you've literally had, apart from is like the pre-Jedi stuff, but like no one cares about it. No one wants like young Obi-Wan. Like.
I mean, who doesn't want to see Ewan McGregor walking around the desert?
I mean, there is that, it's like, it's Ewan McGregor. I'm going to watch it and more than likely enjoy it.
As long as it's got
a hill to climb.
I think you might be pleasantly surprised.
I hope I am. Right. Obviously, I'm paying because I'll be paying for it, so I gotta. I'm be watching him regardless if I like it or not.
You're hitting that delete button, like you're hovering over the delete button. Yeah, I mean, I think I love Ewan McGregor in that role. if you could give me a good story, and you got the greatest talents behind that show, so like, I mean, look, there's always problems that's going to happen with TV shows, but I think this show has a lot going for it at this point. It's got a chance to expand a fan favorite without kind of trenching over all the other stuff. And then you got the talent behind the scenes on that show. It's like, man, like the directors, the writers, I think are probably one of the best in the business, and Mark, Cho, stuff like that. But I think people are.
What are you gonna say? Sorry.
I was gonna say I think people are gonna like it.
I mean, I imagine people are going to like it as Obi-Wan and Hugh McGregor. It's kind of like, why wasn't this the first one you did? Like,
yeah, I think that's the question everybody asks.
But then again, if that was the case, you wouldn't have got the Mandalorian because Obi-Wan was basically the Mandalorian with baby Luke and not. Even though I still would have watched that. I don't care if it had been the same. It's like, no, this is good. No, give me more of this.
I don't know. I like the Mandalorian as it is. It's so separate from the main storylines that.
And that's what I want. I think that's what I want as well. It's like just like Cassian, quote pre-established. Because
there's a couple others. There's
careful.
Yeah, I think there's a lot planned Star Wars wise for that platform.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have a lot of room to kind of I don't know, maneuver and I don't know what to say.
I mean, I'm gonna be watching all of it anyway. That's a Disney shield, despite not getting Disney Plus for free and 4 months late. But hey, that's just shows a
fan
shows determination and I can't think of the word, but I will. But moving on, still in the same realm. Oh, there's a Star Wars. But speaking of the Mandalorian, is it Robert Rodriguez? Isn't it?
Robert.
Yeah, and James Mangold have reportedly done some filming for Mandalorian season 2, which I'm not entirely sure if that is an indication of where this series is going, like tonal wise, because with what Mangold's been doing recently, like, oh, yeah, that's something. That's definitely something.
I mean, look, I'm a fan of
same.
Saw.
Not of what you saw. I can't be a fan of that yet. But...
Rodriguez and Mangold have. There's a reason why they were approached to do stuff for that show.
Oh yeah.
And the stuff that they are doing on the show, it plays to their strengths. So I don't know.
I mean, hey, what was Logan but the Mandalorian? No.
That's true. I think, again, I think you're gonna be. Look, I don't ever after season 1 and of the series, I don't think you're ever gonna question Filoni or
no Favreau
ever. I think they've earned they probably see something in these two guys that they could use for that TV show, because essentially Mandalorian is a Western.
Oh yeah.
So and
both of these guys have done Westerns.
Yeah, both of them have kind of I as much as I don't always enjoy a lot of Rodriguez's stuff, but what he does great is the stylized action, and I think he's kind of I mean the stuff that he's put together, love it or hate it, it's amazing how he puts together stuff on I mean some of his early stuff is crazy, man. How he made a film on basically nothing, and I think he's successful. I think he's one of those guys that is poised to make a comeback. And I think they probably see an opportunity to use him on a TV show, and he probably sees an opportunity to kind of reignite his career on a TV show.
See, be careful, because the Alita fan base will be like, "What do you mean reignited? He made Alita Battle Angel."
I mean, look,
yeah, he did, and womp womp.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's call a spade a spade. Did the movie make any money? Was it successful critically?
No.
It's kind of it was kind of like a blemish. I mean, as much as people don't want to admit it, that movie wasn't like,
I mean, I haven't seen it, so I can't comment on it. But
I seen like 5 minutes of it, and I was like, nope.
I'm done. I've seen all those.
Refund. But Mangold, on the other hand, like, dude, Logan was probably one of the most critically acclaimed, like next to the Joker now, but like that movie.
Joker weren't critically acclaimed.
Yeah, you're right.
That thing's sitting in like the 60s, so that's a.
Yeah, it's
hopefully so, but it's a.
But Logan was probably, and like rightfully so, Logan was probably one of the best comic book adaptations. I mean, like it stuck the landing for me, in that movie, and like the aesthetic was very there, and I could see the aesthetic working in the Mandalorian.
As long as Mangold don't come in here and kill Mando and then have Baby Yoda do something with a grave, I'll be fine. Couldn't handle that. No way. Couldn't handle Logan. We ain't handling that.
Yeah,
I refuse this ending. I literally reject the notion.
I don't think there's going to be an X grave on the site or a frail. But I think Mangold did something with that movie that I think it was like probably one of the best representations of the character. And like if you look at most of his movies, man, like the Wolverine characters movies is like the two best ones were his. So like, yeah, I mean, I want to see what they can do with the character.
I just hope that they individually come through. I know it's kind of hard in a TV show to get like directors like quirks to come through because obviously everyone's just going through the motions because guest directors. But no.
I mean, from what I heard, that like I think those two have a little bit more leeway.
Yeah.
I mean, of course you got to go through Filoni and Favreau, but like I think out of all the directors that they are going to have, I think those are the two that are going to have a little bit more like kind of a leeway to do like their creative, like something creative with the character.
Yeah.
So and like I want to see what they can do. That like I think season 2 of this show is going to be a super duper hit, in my opinion.
I mean, the first one was, so expectations are there for the second one to be. So,
but there's a lot of people that kind of like poo-pooed on that too because of like the time, the tone, the storytelling. Someone said it was a basic storytelling. I was like, well, I mean, like it
kind of is. Like, but I wouldn't say that in a negative way at all.
My rebuttal was like, do you want a super duper complicated one?
I'd say like he's a Mandalorian. Like no one outside of Star Wars fans, people don't know what a Mandalorian is.
Yeah,
so,
and I think
take your time.
And I think that's the best part is like nobody has expectations going into the show, except for the fact that his name is the Mandalorian, and you have that small sect of people saying, "Oh, that's not what a Mandalorian do," but that's like those hardcore like super fans, But
that analyze everything. It's just like, all right, calm down.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when I say to those people, is kind of just slow it down and take it, and like, look. Those are the same people that say that Disney ruined Star Wars and blah 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 blah. But like, I don't know. I have a good feelings about those two.
Same. It's nice that they're not like slowing down on the names.
Yeah,
they're getting. It's like like these are quite high big names, so I'm cool with it. Especially after, Mangold won a couple of Oscars for Ford versus Ferrari. Like, hey, Oscar winner.
And also, he's going on to do other things after this. Like he's taking over. I think he's taking over the Indiana Jones series, if I'm remembering correctly. If I remember correctly, it might have been him, or was it somebody else? I thought Spielberg is out for some reason.
I know they said a name.
I believe it was Mangold. I think I think Mangold.
No, you're right. I was I was googling that. I was like, if he's just spilled it, I'm gonna have to cut that out.
No, I think that
I have to delete the stream. But no, you're good.
No. Yeah, and like again, that maybe that's why Mangold came in. He's like, hey,
true.
I want to do this. I'll do this for you. You know, it's. But
I really hope he makes Indy 5 just like Logan. No.
Oh, that would be perfect. And I don't understand. Like, look, I love Harrison Ford, but he's like 75. Like, but why not just? This is the perfect time to kind of like take it back to zero with that character.
Yeah, and let him bow out. Like, let's not keep exploiting this old man for Indiana Jones.
Yeah. I mean, like I don't know, man. Like, I'm afraid that like one day he's gonna break his hip, and like we're never gonna see.
Look,
this.
He's crashed his plane how many times? He ain't breaking a hip. No.
Yeah, that's true. And the Millennium Falcon did crash on his leg once too. But
that's true. That's very true.
But I not to go on a tangent about like the Indiana Jones thing, but like it's good to see that Disney is bringing a lot of good quality creative people into, and then you also got the fact that like maybe they are fans of the series and they're like, hey, I want to do this.
Yeah,
I just want.
He's not getting his payment. His payment is literally directing that episode. It's like, I don't want money. I want Mandalorian.
I mean, look. I mean, I'm sure they're getting paid, but they're probably a lot of these people are like passionate about. They grew up on it.
It's also an easy get, I suppose. It's like, oh, you haven't got to look for directors; they just kind of come to you now.
Yeah. And that's and I think the show has kind of deserved
that in a way.
Yeah,
because like it's. Out of all the stuff that Disney's put out, that's the less divisive, part of it, So
I mean, it was an instant classic the second it dropped.
Yeah,
people were obsessed,
and rightfully so.
I've rewatched season 1. I don't know, like 4 times.
I've yet to watch it because I'm waiting for it to drop properly.
Oh, you still haven't got.
Besides, I still haven't.
The 24th. Thanks. Oh, still haven't got it. No, I ain't. We haven't even had that launch event here yet. So yeah, thanks for reminding me that I live in a third world country to Disney.
I would blame the coronavirus, but that would be kind of presumptuous.
I mean, also the fact it's a digital service, that ain't gonna affect anything.
It's true.
I'm just thankful that I'm getting Disney Plus in time for that shutdown to happen, so I've got stuff to watch.
You got hours and hours of like Marvel.
Finally going to do my Star Wars homework and watch the shows.
The Clone Wars is like you should try to. Have you watched the Clone Wars?
I watched none of them.
The perfect timing.
Yeah.
It's Colin's sick and watch.
So if you don't hear from me for a month again, you know what's happening.
His eyes are glued. He hasn't taken
also, though, it's slightly I get why they've done it. It's slightly annoying that I've got to do the Mandalorian wait again. It's like, episode 1 next week, episode 2 next week, 3, 4. It's just thanks Disney. No.
Well, I mean, at least you'll have it by season 2. I mean, like at least season 2, you'll be.
I say the wait for season 2 for the UK is going to be short. So
yeah. So like, I think in a way it's kind of easy.
Why
to say.
Why didn't they just release Disney Plus in like March this year? Why? Because now the content weight isn't there. Because you're gonna have Mandalorian, then you're gonna have Falcon, then you're gonna have everything else. And it's like the states are like, oh yeah, Mandalorian, you have nothing. Just I don't understand why. But that's a different topic. But
I'm sure that was fun to talk with people over here.
But to move on to our last topic, still staying in Star Wars. It's a very Star Wars heavy show. Yeah, the thumbnail might give that away. But we had news of the High Republic on Monday. People said we were late on the news because the video came out last night. Fun fact, no, we weren't late. So, but yeah, they have come out and said, despite already saying it's a publishing initiative, it's not going to be in anything else. They've come out and said it won't be tying in to movies or TV shows. And I say whack, to be perfectly honest. Absolute whack. Give me I haven't even read anything about it. Give me animated series, movies. Give us a movie on it. Come on.
Well, I think you know what I think that this is like kind of a litmus test for like how much people really want this because people say they want the High Republic, but then like
I mean, people have been begging for Knights of the Old Republic for ages. Like, why? No, I can understand people being annoyed that they've announced the High Republic and not the Old Republic. Because, like, we've been asking for this, but you've given us this. Like, we want thousands of years, not 200s. Fair enough, I can understand it. But then it's like, oh, yeah, you're not going to... It's only books and novels. It's like, what the hell?
Yeah, I think it's the first... I think it's the first salvo for that time era.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a phase one. Like, let people set it up. You know,
like
here's the rules of this era and all that sort of stuff.
Look, I'm not even giving you guys inside information, but I'm like 100% guaranteeing you that time period will be developed.
Oh yeah, eventually.
Yeah, like you know, the stuff. The animated stuff. I don't like. I guess you could get it out fast. But the live action stuff is kind of a challenge because like you got to realize like you just can't set this in like a
well, it's like, you know, the whole point of the High Republic, they've said, is to, you know, give creators an era they can do what they want in.
Yeah.
Great, fantastic. So you can just literally, you haven't got to adapt anything for a movie. Make your own one set in that era. Make a cartoon set in that era. Like I can understand putting this out and not wanting to do any of that because that's a lot of money involved with making shows and movies. Whereas book side isn't that expensive. So, you know, get the reception and everything and then go into that. But it's kind of like, come on.
Yeah.
Just don't say it won't. Just say not at this moment.
Well, I mean, I don't like, you know, some people, I don't think they want to show all their cards when it comes to stuff like this.
I mean, there is that as well. Yeah.
Like you gotta keep some stuff on the like, who's to say in San Diego Comic-Con or the
Celebration this year?
Disney Celebration, I think in Japan this year.
No, that's D23. I'm talking about Star Wars Celebration.
Oh, Star Wars. You get like 3 opportunities to drop some stuff. You know, like I think they don't want to just like drop all their cards. You know, especially when it's.
But that would be weird, you know, if like, because then why say it won't at that point? Like, why even answer the question?
Well, I think the books are probably just self-contained, maybe. I don't know. Like, cause like once you allow, like that was the biggest problem with like the expanded EU. It was like once you allowed like people to write things about things and it's saying it's connected, then you are cemented to use that. And that kind of poses a problem. You don't want to paint yourself into a corner by saying everything that they write now, you know, that's canon.
Yeah.
You know? And then
it just feels really odd. You know, you've got Rian Johnson out here being like, oh yeah, my trilogy is going to be an unexplored time and unexplored era and all this and that. It's like, well, here's this thing that hasn't been explored. And it's like, oh, he's doing, oh no, he's not. But then I suppose, like, I could be reading it wrong, saying like, just because they won't tie into movies or TV doesn't mean that,
Well, I think, like I said, I think they don't want to paint themselves into a corner by saying everything in this project is like canon, because like once you do that, you're kind of like again.
I mean, they've already said that everything's canon. They gave us a timeline of everything.
I don't know. I think that I don't know. I think it's kind of a litmus test to see how people are gonna like. Because I don't know. There's a lot of times where people say they want something and then they get it and then they're like, you know, you're kind of like, I just gave you exactly what you wanted, but you don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, like I think that taking your time, especially with the TV shows and movies and like animation, like you got to take your time and like you want to do this right? Because there's a lot of people like are clamoring for this, and like if you just put everything out on Front Street, then people are gonna start, you know, like expecting. Like I don't know. I think it's just a safety precaution.
I suppose where they are right now with everything, like it's probably the safer bet to do.
Yeah, like
it's like let's not jump in feet first this time. Let's kind of pull back.
Yeah, you know, I think it's a safer way of doing it. You know, like I don't know. That's just my opinion. I think you're gonna get all this stuff in live action and in animation and movies. It's just let the people that are creating that take the time, develop it, instead of having to worry about what someone else is doing over here and they have to incorporate it into there. Like that's when you kind of get problems. Like, let Ryan Johnson develop his stuff or whatever time period it is, and let it be his own thing. That way, he's not beholden to what these people write. Like I don't know. That's how I feel. Is like it could be canon and like not
separate.
Yeah.
Then again, maybe Ryan Johnson's stuff is going way in the future,
or way in the past. Who knows? Like
that's true. I have seen a couple of people say like they wish this was more in the future because it wouldn't be beholden to anything Skywalker, and it's like, well, this is kind of not beholden to anything. It's like, sure, you could say Yoda's alive because he would be at this point, but like, it's not really beholden to any of it.
Well, then, like, you also, if it goes forward in time, you can start incorporating like the Mandalorian characters. Like, Child could be in whatever.
Yeah. There's always that people will always find a way to reference something from something else. Because why wouldn't you?
It's free advertising.
Exactly. So yeah, it could be good news, could be bad news that won't tie in. Could be completely reading it wrong, and it's just like, oh yeah, no, like it ain't gonna tie into any of this, but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna play about in that era.
Or I mean, like there's a lot, and I'm not making excuses, but a lot of times when you do interviews like this, you can take that stuff way out of context. Like
it's true, it's very true. We've all done it. We've all done it.
It's a very possible that that's not exactly what they said, and the writer just interpreted it that way, and the next thing you know, you got like a whole bunch of rabid fans saying why.
So you got me sitting there pissing my pants about it. Right.
But
that's only because I want it. It's just like just it looks cool. Just do it. I haven't even read anything. I don't care to read anything right now because obviously it's not out yet. But like pure aesthetic alone, just give me something from it.
Not just that, it's like the talent behind it. Fantastic.
Oh yeah. That's crazy talent.
Like I don't think I could like seeing any of the creative people involved in this project. I don't think I don't want to read any of this stuff.
I mean, just Charles Soule alone, like that was enough for me. I
seen Charles Soule. I was like, okay, I'm in now.
It's like Charles Soule being let loose on Star Wars in his own thing. Yes.
I've never read a book without pictures, but until now. So,
the last one I read was Lord of the Rings, and that was too long ago that I cared to admit.
Very painful.
Someone should make a Lord of the Rings comic. Come on, Amazon. Chip chop.
Let's not do that now. That's a whole different.
You got that entire. I can't even pronounce the word of the thing or remember the name of it right now.
I mean, they have the IP, like the licensing. I mean, they could do it. So. I don't know.
Hey, it's a gold mine. It's a gold mine right there. Parasite's getting a graphic novel. Fun fact. No.
Yeah, I mean that's a movie that's crazy. It's gone like balls deep and everything. And surprisingly, like I'm like Parasite.
I'm all here for it. I'm just like, yes, I will read that Parasite graphic novel.
I'm down with it, but it's just like kind of like out of left field to see that.
I just like that. This is way off topic, but like the fact that it's all his drawings that are gonna do it. So it's like, yes, give me that. I need to see how he came up with everything.
Yeah.
But right, that will bring an end to this week's show. So thanks everyone for joining, and we'll catch you all next time. So bye.
Bye.